Recruiting is changing because the old model is under pressure. Posting jobs and waiting for applicants is no longer enough. Recruiters are overwhelmed with applications. Many candidates are passive, and the best talent may never apply at all. At the same time, candidates want a better experience. They do not want to send resumes into a black hole. They want opportunities that match who they are, what they can do, and where they want to go. Today, we are going to talk about the future of AI recruiting, why opportunities should find the right people, how recruiters can search and engage talent more intelligently, and how platforms like Obra are changing candidates, discovery, and hiring workflows. Welcome to another edition of the Smart Office podcast. I am your host, Hippolyte Asa. I am an AI implementation engineer, and I help small businesses use practical AI systems to improve operations, client experience, and growth. Today, we are welcoming Alan Liao, co-founder and head of product at Obra. Obra is an AI-powered career and recruiting platform. On the candidate side, Obra's message is that opportunities should find you. On the recruiter side, Obra Hire helps teams find, review, and contact qualified candidates using AI-powered search across more than 800 million professional profiles. Alan, welcome to the Smart Office podcast.
Yeah, glad to be here. Thank you.
Okay, Alan, I was interested in Obra because your company is really attacking one of the biggest problems in hiring, the disconnect between opportunities, candidates, and the recruiters. Many job seekers are tired of applying without hearing back. Recruiters are tired of sorting through hundreds of resumes. Hiring teams are tired of slow sourcing and low quality pipelines. Obra's message, opportunities find you, speaks to both sides of that problem. It suggests a future where matching, discovery, and outreach become more intelligent. So how are you doing today?
Doing great. Yeah.
Great. So I'm glad to have you here. I think this conversation is going to go a long way. It's going to be very valuable for a lot of people, including recruiters, staffing firms, HR leaders, founders, job seekers, and many, many more interested in how AI is changing hiring. And for those who are listening, who are watching us, we are going to talk a lot more about traditional job boards, applicant-heavy recruiting workflows, and their breakdown. And then we're going to talk about technology, search, and candidate discovery, how it helps recruiters find better people faster. And then we may eventually talk about recruiting platforms. There are many, many recruiting platforms now coming up that can balance automation, trust, candidate experience, and human judgment. So, Alan, I want to start a little bit with your story, which is very important. We would like to know, before we get into all that technology, recruiting, or AI and product, can you share your story? What led you into building Obra?
Yeah, glad to share. So, Alan, I originally from Taiwan. I'm an immigrant, come to US for study and start working, build a family here. I lived in several places in the past, like Paris and Philippines, Taiwan. And there is part of me always want to feel giving the right opportunity to the right talent is critical, because I was able to kind of change my trajectory through a lot of people's help, giving me opportunity and education. And I think there are a lot of great talent, a lot of people who work really, really hard, and they just need the opportunity. So a couple of years ago, when my CEO, my co-founder, Paul Ostrom, reaching out to me and say, hey, let's build something together, wrap ourselves around job seeker. And we didn't know what to do, but we figured we just need to build something to help them out. I say yes, and we start a journey of Obra, and we're still going.
Right. So how many years has Obra been operating?
Yeah, Obra has been funded and operating for about 2.5 years now.
So what problem did you see in job search or recruiting that made Obra necessary?
Yeah, it is a very frustrating thing in recruiting in general, right? If you
Right.
do a simple Google search, or you say recruiters are on Google search, you will have a lot of negative terms coming out. And, at one point I was a job seeker before I know more people, right? I'm just applying online and praying I will hear back. 90% of the time I get ghosted.
Yeah.
Eventually, I kind of build out my brand. I know a little more people. Then there are referral friends from VC everywhere start proactively reaching out. And my career management feels completely different, right? Like I think I'm still me, but in a world, no one knows who I am. And I'm just praying someone can see me. On the other hand, when people know what I'm competent doing, then a lot of opportunity presented itself. So at Obra, we're hoping to create a world every job seeker, like we know everyone is very talented and there are all sort of position, all sort of job in the world. We are hoping to create a space for everyone to showcase what they got. And then for the recruiter, hiring manager can proactively reaching out to land. So they have that best experience on recruiting. We also see the problem with almost all job platform, the incentive is misaligned. Like
Right.
the traditional job board, job seeker wants to find a job quicker,
Mm-hmm.
hiring manager and recruiter want to hire someone quicker. But all this job board is incentivized by people posting job and sponsor those jobs. So in many ways, the longer those jobs stays open, the more desperate people are, the more money the platform makes.
Right.
I don't know. Like my background is product analytics and engineering. I can see a world there are probably a lot of growth product manager running A/B tests and trying to figure out the right balance. Do we help these people fill out a job quicker? Will that hurt our monetization or the other way around?
Right.
So yeah, that's the problem we've been seeing for long.
Wow, that's quite exhaustive. When someone hears the name Obra, what do you want them to understand about your company mission? Like, what do you want them to know when they hear the name Obra?
Yeah. The core of Obra is we wrap around job seeker, right? We want to make sure every job seeker come in, they have the support, right? Like we create a lot of AI feature to help them to drop their information, AI career coach to help them understand their career potential, what's the gap they have between the dream job and where they are currently at, the education resources they need to acquire to build out those skills. And we believe as we wrap ourselves around the job seeker, we gain their trust. On the other end, we will be able to provide valuable information and accurate qualification back to recruiter and hiring manager who is looking to hire and provide a more meaningful engagement between both job seeker and recruit.
Okay. So you seem like, are you more focused on the candidates or the recruiters? What do you think the focus should be on? Or is it 50-50, or you're trying to bring both together in a meaningful way?
Yeah, I will say it's probably a 70-30. 70% is focused on job seeker and 30% on hiring manager, right? Like if you think about it, it's a little similar to a lot of these two-sided platform, even Google search, right? Like
Right, right,
the user is your input and you need to have really, really good input so you can on the other side to build out a marketplace. So Google spent many, many years to make sure the search experience is great.
right.
And that's the way they can provide highly accurate leads back to the company. I think it's a little similar to us, right? We are really caring for the job seeker experience. So the job seeker can find jobs, feeling
Right.
happy, feeling supported, and engaging in our platform. On the other
Mm.
end, we'll have very highly qualified candidate information to share with recruiters.
Yeah. On the recruiter side, Obra Hire is positioned as helping teams find, review, and contact qualified candidates, right, from what is it, through AI-powered search.
Mhm.
So what are recruiters struggling with most before they use a tool like Obra?
Yeah, a couple things. I think the traditional model for, recruiting for many, many years is post and pray model, right? Like they post
Yeah,
something on the job board and they pray someone will apply to it. And
right.
if they don't see enough people apply to it, they have to spend money to sponsor. And those
Sponsor,
cost a
yeah.
lot of money.
Mm.
You're asking all these recruiter to become, marketing specialists and try to
Right.
figure out the ads. It's probably working for quite a while, but recently get broken terribly with all the AI, right? Like we
Yeah.
have heard client with ad budget set aside got consumed all of a sudden because all these AI agent applying to jobs. all the resume looks the same because all the job seeker using AI to apply to jobs. And historically, we hear more about job seeker getting ghosted by recruiter and hiring manager. But in the past 12 months, a lot of these companies also get ghosted by their candidates.
Right.
These candidates probably don't even know what company they apply to. They just use AI to do all of things.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it become a very vicious cycle. Like no one's happy, right? Like these platforms also see the issue and they keep upping their price, trying to milk it out. So a lot of recruiter are just frustrating and they are asking to do more with less, right? Like with
Mhm.
AI, all the executive believe all the recruiters should use AI, be more productive. It should be magic. And you can double the amount of requisition you have in hand with AI. So I will say from what we heard, recruiter are just very stressful. They are overworked and they can't handle everything that's going on. And the current model is just broken.
Yeah.
With Obra Hire, what we offer is we hire very highly qualified candidates and reliable data quality on contact information, those things. So instead of sit through thousands of resumes that are AI generated and likely irrelevant to your job and getting really burnout, they can be very accurate on what they are looking for and reach out to those candidates. A candidate also has a better experience because they are being chased after the recruiter. There is a job waiting for them, an interview waiting for them if they are willing to accept the call. That's much more meaningful in our.
That's good. Yeah. I mean, what you're saying is really spot on. So, how should recruiters think differently about outbound recruiting now, today? Like when they outbound, Obra's public profile says Obra Hire gives recruiters access to AI powered search across 800 million plus professional profiles. So, what does that change for recruiters compared to traditional sourcing?
Yeah, a couple of things. First, I don't think proactively sourcing is something we invented, right? Like LinkedIn
Right.
Recruiter has been there for a long time,
Right.
but it's really pricey and they don't give you a taste before you sign a long-term contract. And, there are all those things. And for certain job, LinkedIn Recruiter is amazing. But for a lot of blue collar or gray collar job, like those people don't exist on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of people are more responsive to their text message and email than their LinkedIn message. Right? I think LinkedIn used to be great. Then they launched LinkedIn Sales Navigator. All my LinkedIn message went from recruiting to sales now, right? It's not purely about recruiting. So knowing we didn't invent this, and seeing all the noise that's going on, what we are trying to do is to help recruiter to understand how critical it is to have a personal touch in the recruiting cycle. I think
Right.
everyone is getting tired with AI, right? Like if I got an email or I got a message, I sniff out that's an AI thing. I just don't want to read it because I'm like, "Ah, who cares?" So we are helping recruiter to have a more direct personal contact with the candidate, right? We believe it's two-way, right? Like as we are engaging with the job seeker on the Obra jobs platform and getting more real data about, hey, their usage, their engagement, we can circle those things back to the recruiter. So the recruiter can say, great, this person isn't AI generated because they have been looking for a job in the past 2. They've been
Right.
searching for jobs, opening up email and interacting with job recommendation. This is someone I want to talk to. Here's the phone number. Here's the email. Let me reach out. So we honestly haven't figured out everything, but we are seeing very strong traction because we prioritize people first and prioritize this people touch. And we use AI in a lot of places, right? Like we use AI to make data more structural, make things a little more efficient. But anything that's affecting a human's life, such
Right.
as a job decision, all those things, we
Right.
don't use AI for it. We leave it to.
Yeah. So, in the age of AI or in Obra Hire, what makes a candidate qualified in an AI powered search environment? Like now, it's so chaotic now, but what would qualify a candidate according to Obra given the proliferation of AI
Yeah.
and AI applications?
So let me define qualify a little more, right?
Yeah. Like, is it like skills, title, experience, or industry, like geography, like intent? Like, I'm trying to figure out maybe you have a criteria for people who are using AI and that this is what goes through and this is what doesn't work.
Yeah. So a lot of people, and if you go Google AI recruiter, there are probably 50 different companies out there, right? And everyone's just AI. What we do is instead of using AI model and threw everything into AI, say, hey, tell me if this job match with this candidate and give me the result. We have our internal proprietary model to make things more sophisticated. What we eventually have on the other end is for every job seeker and for every request, we go through a very sophisticated process and we calibrate with the hiring manager to make sure, you know, what kind of must have and nice to have a candidate should have, right? So
Right.
it's not a black box. It's just like oh, AI qualify you versus not. We actually stay away from it because we see a lot of people in the industry they just trying to use AI to do everything and give a score on every candidate. And there are lawsuit, bias, all those kind of things. So what we do is we use AI to understand the criteria, the must have and nice to have from hiring manager. Then we go back to all the profile we have and that become more filter instead of just a keyword match, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, the prerequisite of someone to be qualified is we do a lot of things to make sure a candidate is legit, right? Based on their
Yeah.
usage, based on their profile quality, all those things. But afterwards, all these are good people. Then the recruiter, hiring manager, they are doing their search. We do calibration with them and then coming out with the right criteria and filter out the candidate based on the criteria.
Wow, that makes sense. So let's talk about the product, your trust, and maybe the workflow. From a product perspective, what makes a recruiting tool like Obra actually useful enough for recruiters to use every week?
Yeah, couple things, right? Like there are a lot of feature we can talk about, right? There are feature to create project, to collaborate with your team, and making search easier through Boolean search, natural language search, job description search, integration with ATS, and we have that. Most of our competitor also have that, right? Like I say, like searching in a database and all the way to search and project management collaboration those are new, but based on our experience, at the end of the day, this recruiter, hiring manager, they are looking for highly qualified candidates. So in some ways, it doesn't matter how fancy your product looks or how cool the AI feature looks,
Right.
whether you have highly qualified candidate with qualified information. We have several clients recently switched over to us from some of the competitor. And the feedback we got is, there are people who are just scraping data, buying data everywhere, and the profile looks great. But when they are actually doing the outreach to these candidates, it doesn't work. Right? Like, it almost feels even worse because you're showing me a very, very nice dessert, but you put it in a glass that I can't even touch it. So I invest emotionally, I invest my time, and I talk to my hiring manager, all those things. And at the end of the day, I can't even get to that candidate.
Right.
So I think what Obra really works is, the fact we have highly qualified candidate and, we have all the feature people need to get to this candidate. Our model is also different, right? Like we have a completely freemium model.
Right.
My background is B2B SaaS. I'm a firm believer that the product delivers value to the user. Then once the perceived value is higher than the price, people will make the purchase decision. So we have all these valuable things in there and we allow people to sign up for free. They can use and they can acquire real contact information of this job seeker for free. No credit card trial is required. Like you can do a trial, but you get to see the value before you even make any commitment. The things we offer is sufficient for, occasional recruiting, you need some additional help on your major tool. And that will show you like the true value of the product, which I think it's very new compared to everything we have seen, right? Like a lot of HR tool require you to hop on a sales call before you can do anything. Like the only CTA on their website is book a demo. Some of the other ones is like, great, you can do a trial, but give me your credit card first. You have 1 day, you have 7 day, and
Right.
you know, and even a trial, you can use their feature, but you cannot see the quality of the data. The moment you want to see the quality of the data, you are paying.
Right.
And including myself, when before we start Obra, right? Like I've tried other things and get super frustrated. I feel it's a scam. Like you are just trying to collect one payment or a
Mm.
month worth of payment from me for me to know the data doesn't work and I have to remember to cancel it. You're counting on me not remembering canceling it, so you collect more money from me. That's like that's what we do differently than most things you can see in the market and how we believe we are trying to do right by both.
That makes sense. So let's see what our Obra is current priority and business opportunities that you guys are venturing in. So as Obra continues growing, what business priority are you guys most focused on improving right now? Will it be acquiring more recruiters or users or increasing Obra adoption? What's the priority?
Yeah.
What are you guys focused on
Yeah, that's a
right
good
now?
question. And our North Star as a company is always to do better for job seeker, as I mentioned. On the other end, when we are building a marketplace, you're always trying to balance out everything, right? Like I think Uber's early days, driver versus rider, those kind of things. So for Obra, we have been spent, majority of our time in the past 2.5 years building things for job seeker. Couple months ago, we launched our new platform, Obra Hire, that's for recruiter. And we are still in the process to get to a spot that we feel we have all the table stake to make a recruiter and hiring managers search successful.
Right.
We are growing pretty quickly on that side since our launch, but we know there are still a couple things we need to wire up and close the loop. And once we get to that spot, I think we'll switch our priority back again to job seeker. And where we at? Honestly, we're constantly doing both, but
Right.
it's just a little more here, a little more.
So okay, that sounds good. So right now you're trying to adapt the market, continuously build a platform. Where do you believe AI can create the most practical value in recruiting over the next few years? I know AI has been there and it's been a buzzword, but are there still opportunities for AI to create value?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of value to be created by AI. So the interesting thing is when a new technology is being introduced, I think a lot of time you will start like people will diverge. Like people is trying to use it for everything, and it creates a lot of noise to start. Then everyone kind of know what's going on, and things start to converge. Eventually, the noise goes away, and the valuable things stay. I think for recruiting in particular, we are still in the diverging stage, right? Like job seeker trying to see what else I can use AI for to make my life easier at a job. And recruiter hiring manager companies trying to see like, oh, well, can we use AI to cut through more noises and get to the right candidate we have? I think like we have our hypothesis, right? Our hypothesis is AI will be great to guide both job seeker and recruiter for them to be readier, right? Like on one end, you'll make job seeker more qualified to be ready to take a job, right? Like education, coaching, understand the market, the direction they want to go in their career. On the other end, it will help recruiter and hiring manager to know what they are looking for. Because a lot of time, you know, I was previously working for a recruiting firm on their product team. Like a lot of hiring manager, when they go to recruiter, the first time they don't really know what they are looking for. Right?
Right.
Like the recruiter is even frustrated with hiring manager because like, I thought you told me you want this and I present you a couple candidates. You say you want that. That calibration, that cycle is wasting a lot of time. So I think AI will really help both sides to be more clear on what they are looking for. That will be great value creation on AI. And then I think the personal engagement between a job seeker and an employer, that will remain human because that is a huge decision in people's life. And, like I wouldn't just trust AI to do my job. I want to talk to the person, right? Like even I'm a job seeker, I'm still looking at a company I'm joining. Like I won't just blindly trust it. On the other end, I think, there are a lot of companies try to use AI to figure out candidate to start and they realize, crap, we can't do something like that. We still need to we see people flying in to the office for interview again. We start to see those kind of more, you can say more manual, more heavy human touch is
Right.
getting bring back right now. And I think in the next few years, AI will help people to get ready, and then the true decision making will remain human.
Yeah. So that makes sense. I mean, I think that's a lot of logical sense right there. But if you could remove in a recruiter's life or weekly workflow, if you could remove one repetitive task from a recruiter's weekly workflow, what would it be? So what should recruiters at least spend that time on instead of that repetitive task? Have you figured out anything in your workflow where you think recruiters should rather? And that may help with Obra hire. Like, what tools do you guys have to tell recruiters that instead of you spending time, that they're going to see value in using Obra hire instead of spending time on some repetitive task?
Yeah. I think the most valuable thing recruiter does is to interacting with qualified candidates who are interested in their company, right? Instead of writing job ads, posting things, reviewing, screening, or doing outreach and acting like a sales, writing all this cold outreach email. I think the recruiter's best value is just interacting with candidates who are qualified and interested. And a lot of other tool, I think a lot of other tool is also trying to do the same thing. I think at the end of the day, why Obra versus something else and the way we build things, the tool we build, come down to the approach, right? Because there are two different ways, right? And they are probably too extreme, but I'll give you an example. On one end, you can say, hey, I'm going to spend every job seeker in the world and then only filter out the ones I feel qualify for the recruiter. So recruiters spend their time the most valuable candidate.
Right.
Yeah, you can totally do it. And that's probably where recruiter wants to spend their time. But on the other end, you're causing a lot of harm to the job seeker. You're making a lot of people frustrated. You're ghosting a lot of people and you make a lot of people lose trust. You make this recruiter's company look really bad. You hurt the reputation, things like that. Or on the other end, I can still deliver highly qualified candidate to the recruiter for them to do the most valuable things. But I treat job seeker really, really well. And I make sure I also don't waste their time. I don't give them false hope. And I do
Right.
the right thing for them. I think that's the thing we're trying to do.
Great. Now, where do you see where do things stand right now?
Yeah. I will say things are a little chaotic right now, right? Like there are a lot of mixed signal people are seeing, right? Like people are seeing the stats being published by the government, and there are a lot of people graduating from school, can't find a job. There are a lot of company, I went to SHRM national events, seeing those report, and people say, well, recruiting remain as the top 3 hardest things to do, right? Like despite we have AI and people say, well, do you feel you're being more productive with AI? Most people say yes. And a lot of people say we adopt AI. But how come recruiting is not easier? Or how come
Right.
people still, right? Like it's
People
very
cannot get interview.
correct. And, the job creation data posting is like everywhere. Like people think, oh, there'll be less job. Actually, there are more job created. But what are those jobs? And there's a mismatch on the current talent pool in the United States versus the job that's needed, right? Like we see job increasing, but a lot of healthcare job. But that's a mismatch with, the people who are available to fill the job. So that's what we are seeing and what we're hearing. The feeling is like it's pretty chaotic. No one has a solution right now, but people the competition to figure out a solution is real, right? And I think everyone is trying to figure out how this evolvement is and how job seeker can be more adaptive to new skill and upskill their learning. Either they are searching for a job or they are in a company and company are thinking about like, great, how do I shift my worker and give them more skills instead of hiring, because hiring is really hard these days. Right. So that's what we are seeing right now based on the data, the conference we've been to, and the first-hand interaction we have with our client jobs. I think Obra is for everyone, right? Like everyone at one point is a job seeker, and there are a lot of people, we will all to help recruit and hire.
So Obra is good for job seekers, right? Anybody looking for a job in any field, they go to Obra and do a search. And then for recruiters as well, right?
Recruiter and hiring manager.
Hiring manager. So hiring managers, recruiters as well. Is there a subscription fee or it's free?
Yeah. So Obra Jobs. So for the job seeker platform, it's 100% free for all jobs.
Free. Okay.
People can just sign up and use it. On the Obra hire side, we have a free tier. So anyone with a corporate email domain can sign up and try the product out. We do have subscription model. So every month we give you free credit. If you hit the limit of those free credit, or if you want to create a team account, so multiple recruiter hiring managers working together and collaborating, that's where you will upgrade. And if you want to like integrate with your applicant tracking system, that's also where you will upgrade as well.
Right. That makes sense. So you do have Obra Hire for recruiters who want to use the platform. So do you have a geographical area of operation? Like where do candidates or clients come from? Is it only in the US, or where does Obra Hire operate?
Yes. So we operate worldwide. I will say for job seeker, our current, focus is North America. So we have a lot more North America data than anywhere else. But in terms of Obra Hire, we do have a global database that recruiter and hiring manager can.
Great. Oh, okay, Alan, thank you very much for joining me on the Smart Office podcast. I really appreciate your insight on AI recruiting, candidate discovery, sourcing, product design, and recruiter workflow, and how technology can help opportunities and people find each other more intelligent. Would you like, before you close, just let others know where Obra Hire can be contacted, how you guys can be contacted, maybe your website, and how candidates can go on your website and just be out to any potential customers or job seekers?
Yeah. So Obra.co, Obra.co is our website. And you can go there, both job seeker and hiring manager, recruiter can all go there. You can see where to go after you get there. Also, my personal email is Alan@Obra.co. So ALLEN@Obra.co. Like, people can just email me and ping me. Find me on LinkedIn, anywhere. I'm very accessible.